Huh?
I've got a good one. Go ahead if you got one. I got to get to mine.
Well, this right here, this has always struck a point with me. Cops that basically entrap you on parking meters. You know, the kind of guys that walk down the street and they see you got 2 minutes left and they'll stand there.
That's not entrapment.
That is entrapment.
No, entrapment would be, come park here. Trust me, you'll be fine.
Yeah, entrapment would be like if there was no parking meter there, it was like a free parking space, and as soon as you park, they like stuck one of those fake ones there, like in the cartoons.
No. My understanding, I might have entrapment messed up, but like a cop is not allowed to sit outside of a bar to pick drunk drivers off because it's considered entrapment.
Really? I don't think so.
They're not allowed to do it. As considered entrapment. If you got a cop sitting at like on the side of the road in front of a bar when it lets out, you can win that case because that's entrapment. Same thing. If there should be like a grace period because I've never got a parking ticket here because we don't have parking meters in the South. We don't. But
we park in the front yard.
Yeah, we park on the field lines. That's what we park on. We hope the septic tank don't fuck up.
They don't even know what a septic tank is, dude.
But I was watching the Young Turks, and Chink got a $50 ticket because he was 2 minutes over. Because he was trying to get changed to get put in the parking meter, and the guy was sitting there 5 minutes before it went over. And as soon as it clicked, he started writing the ticket. That's fucked up.
Oh, that's just the cop being a dick. That's not.
Yeah. I would argue that the cop was a little tight there. But it's not entrapment and it's not illegal. And they can also sit outside of bars too. Like that's legal too.
How would that be legal?
That's what
he said. How would it be illegal? Like a bar is a public place. They can sit outside there and look for you. Just in the same way that they might go to certain areas where people are known to speed.
Look at this, like one of you stand in front of the bar and everybody walks out that's drunk. Public drunk, public drunk, public drunk, public drunk. You know,
here's the way I look at
bring the paddy wagon over.
Here's the way I look at cops in general, and this is how I feel about most law enforcement. I feel that most law enforcement is completely unneeded, and their budgets are like completely overblown because they've got these quotas they've got to meet, and they're going to meet them one way or another to justify another cop car, hiring 3 more cops, and it's bullshit. I live in a very, very small town. We have like 8 or 9 cop cars. There's a cop on a bicycle. There's a fucking cop on a golf cart. I shit you not. How would you feel if you got pulled over by a cop on a fucking golf cart? I'm not even stopping. Anyway, we have no crime in my town. There's one area in town where how do I phrase this? It's where the bad people live who sell drugs. If you want drugs, that's where you go. And I'm not talking about like black tar heroin. I mean, if you want some weed, that's where you would go. But these guys don't go down there. No. They're stopping people in this little stretch of road where the speed limit is like 25 miles an hour, where it should not be. It's like an open stretch of road. They'll fucking stop and give like grandma and grandpa a $120 ticket to pay for their budget. It's fucking bullshit. I mean, they want to go after the easy like suburban targets, and they have no interest in going after like some kind of a person who is literally a criminal. That's what they do for the living.
Don't fuck around and have an out-of-state tag on your car.
It's ridiculous.
I got one up on your Kyle. We have 3 cops in my town. 3. I know them all by name.
Oh, gosh.
And the saying around here is, call the cops if you want. It takes them 2.5 hours to get anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got a public violence charge in this town, you might as well not even call the cops. You better get yourself a gun.
Yeah.
You know what we have that's frustrating are the cameras on the traffic lights. And they shorten the yellow to burn you on it. You think you're going to make it, and you don't because it has a short yellow.
Yeah, you want to hear a funny story about those cameras? When I lived in Atlanta, I sold cars, and at car dealerships, you've got those like temporary tags that like basically you buy a car and there's like a tag that says Team Ford at North Point, and then they stick this little holographic sticker on there so the cops know it's legit. Well, if you're selling cars, you have an unlimited supply of those. So I bought a new car. I didn't buy a tag for 6 months. I kept those things on, and I made a point to run through the damn toll booths, to run through the red lights. I'm like, let them take my picture. I'm like flipping them off every time I go through it. I was like the toll booth bandit. Every day I drove through it twice. That was awesome.
When I was a teenager, I used to run the toll all the time. I bet I ran, I'm not going to exaggerate, probably 350 or 400 tolls in 2 years when I lived in New Jersey. I used to just split through those things like I was supposed to.
Yeah, in Atlanta they've got that like free pass thing. It's basically like, you put the electronic thing in you pay like $50 and it gives you this electronic thing and you drive through it unlimited and that's the lane you go through, you just speed right on through that lane, flip the bird to the camera. Like, what are you going to do?
Aren't they better at, like sending tickets and stuff? They take a picture of your license plate.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. I've got the temporary tag on the car.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't work for no person.
We don't have none of this shit in our town. But this makes me think of that one story about the guy who shot the toll booth repairman in the face while he ran through the toll booth camera. And I'm like, give that guy a job. Don't send him to death row. You're going 60 miles an hour. You hang out a window with a handgun and shoot a guy in a van. You got talent.
Dude, that's hard. I used to hang out the passenger side of my truck and shoot mailboxes with a shotgun. It's hard.
He did it with a pistol. Got a headshot. He blew his head off. Going 60 miles an hour while driving. He's shot through the window.
They need to make him a cop. He could stop all those high-speed chases in L.A.
I mean,
Brittany, you a gun person? Do you have guns?
I don't have guns, but my uncle is actually a police officer, so yeah. I agree and I disagree to an extent. I've been around enough of them to kind of know a little bit, but I mean, like, I don't mind guns. Like, I've shot them before and stuff, and they're pretty fun, but like, I don't know. I guess I can see both sides of why people like them and why people don't. But I don't mind them at all.
Yeah, I remember I saw a really, really cool statistic one time. It was this thing, it said, basically what it said was, in 24 out of the 50 states, you can walk into a store, buy a handgun and a holster and strap it on, then walk down the street without any licensing whatsoever. And then it says, this may sound crazy until you realize that 80% of the murders are committed in the other 26 states. If everybody's walking around with a pistol on their side, you're not nearly as likely to knock over the 7-Eleven.
Yeah, that McDonald's ain't gonna get robbed when Grandma's got her 44 Magnum.
Oh, Grandma's got like a 32 or something.
Yeah, so
you don't know my
I'm in
grandma.
North Carolina. I went on an off-roading trip with like 8 friends, and I have a gun in the truck, and I was surprised 100% of us were armed. Like, there's more people here with guns than you might guess, and it's all secret. It's all like on the down low. People don't advertise that they're carrying, and but people do.
I'm gonna go one step above that. They should let us do open carry, because the fact is, the person that's open carrying is usually not the bad guy.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I told them when they arrested me. I was like,
what? Wait a minute. Did I miss a part of this story?
Oh, yeah, I guess you did. All right, here's all right, so I got my carry permit when I was 21, and went ahead and strapped my 9mm on. Went to Walmart. My cousin and I both were carrying. Had them strapped on our sides, and we're playing Guitar Hero back in the electronics section. Now, given it was 1 a.m, but I mean, what are you gonna do? We're in Georgia. It's 1 a.m. Let's go play some Guitar Hero at Walmart. Anyway, apparently my cousin had slept with the manager's wife at some point. That's a whole other story, but the manager doesn't like us. So he calls the cops, and we're walking away from the electronics section, and I glance behind me, and there's 3 cops. And I'm like, this would be a good chance for me to show them my license. I hope they ask about the guns. And this cop goes, whoa,
so
whoa,
let me interrupt.
whoa, whoa.
Are you open or concealed carrying at this point?
Open. It's strapped on my hip like I'm Wyatt Earp.
Okay.
This guy goes, whoa, 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 whoa. What you boys doing with them guns strapped on? And I'm like, I wanted to say the same thing you're doing with a gun strapped on, but it didn't seem like a good idea at the time. So I was like, we've got permits. We're just playing some Guitar Hero. And at this point, they've kind of surrounded us, and they've already taken Scott's gun away from him and handcuffed him. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa! What you handcuffing Scott for? So I'm like, so the cop reaches, takes my gun out of my holster, and he looks at it. He's like, he's got one in the chamber, and they all like look at each other and nod like it's a bad thing. I want to be like, don't you have one in the chamber? Like, it's
Yeah,
not gonna be
right.
nuts if I don't have to cycle, if I have to cycle a fucking round. I'm like, so I pull my license out of my wallet, and I'm like reading on the back of the license. It literally has word for word, like copied right out of the Georgia law book. You know, it's basically kind of like the Second Amendment almost. It's like, you know, this right will not be infringed. You know, like the hand of God came down and wrote it, and it's like so obvious. It says that you can't take the gun to a public gathering. Now, who here thinks Walmart is a fucking public gathering? No. Walmart is a store. It is a privately owned store, and you can walk in Georgia and in 20 and about half the states. It's about 24, I think. You can strap on a gun if you have a proper licensing. In some states, you don't even need any licensing, and you can walk into a bank, a Walmart, a liquor store, anywhere like that with the gun strapped on. The exception to the rule is bars that get, or I should say, businesses that get more than like a certain percentage of their toll from alcohol sales. Which basically, like, you can go to an Applebee's, which is a bar and grill, but you can't go to a bar. Like parades, political events, for obvious reasons.
Things where you buy tickets.
Football games, yeah, that sort of thing. And this dumb
Rock
fucking
concerts.
cop is like, you know, he arrests us. It's 4 a.m. till we get out, and we're sitting there, and like, this guy was a cocksucker. This guy was the biggest jerk. We're in there getting fingerprinted and having our pictures taken, and the cop in there is a nice guy. And this douche cop keeps like sticking his head in the room. He's like, these boys ain't giving you no trouble, are they? And he like looks at us like we're fucking hardened criminals. He's like, no, these guys aren't going to give us any trouble. He comes back later. He's like, won't you boys know you ain't getting your guns back? And I'm like, fuck, that's a $600 pistol. And he like comes back later. He's like, won't you boys know you won't be getting them licenses back neither. I'm like, God damn, this guy's a cop. Anyway, we get done with that part of the thing. And we're sitting in the lobby out there. They decided not to put us in the lockup because my uncle was coming to bail us out. And you can see on this screen like what's going on in the back room. And there's like 6 black guys back there, and they're not in cells. They're in like a community area, and they're having a fucking ball back there. They got their shoes taken off, beating the shit out of walls, throwing furniture around. And I'm like, is that where you were going to put us if my uncle wasn't coming? He's like, yep. I'm like, God damn, I'm glad Dwight's on the way. You have to give me my gun back if I'm going in there.
Did you ever get your gun back?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I get to the judge, and the judge is just as much a clueless dumbass as the cops were. I didn't get a lawyer because I didn't think I needed one because it was such an obvious mistake on their part. I had to basically open the law book up that he had and read the fucking law to the judge and make him say it out loud, make him read it out loud for the recorder before he would let us go. Because he was just going to like read it silently and then say that we were still guilty. I was like, no, read it out loud so that it's on the record. And once he read it out loud, we got out of it. And I'm not going to lie, I had like a fucking panic attack when he started talking about giving us a year in jail and a $25,000 fine. I was like, I basically like passed out. Like I turned white.
Why didn't you conceal carry?
I didn't see any point.
Do you now?
I don't carry it at all now. Keep it in the truck.
Yeah,
Scott does. Scott sticks it in his belt buckle. He just like sticks it in the front of his pants.
My concealed carry license seems to be a lot different than yours, Kyle. Like, mine basically gives the make, model, the caliber, and the serial number of my carry gun, which is my 1911. I have my right thumbprint signature on it, and it has like on the front of it has like my picture, you know, my birth and all this other mess. And it has it has the Conway Police Department's number on it in case my card ever gets lost or, you know, stolen.
Yeah.
That is a lot different than North Carolina.
Yeah, mine just has my information. There's no picture, there's a thumbprint, and it's laminated. And I can carry any gun. I mean, here's the way the law is written. I can literally take my AR-15, strap it on my back, hold an MP5 in my hand, put on army fatigues with face paint, and walk into Walmart, and that's perfectly legal.
But MP5 is full auto, isn't it?
Doesn't matter. I've got the licensing.
Oh, do you have a full auto license?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
See, in South Carolina, it's a lot different. See, we can conceal carry. We can't open carry unless it's our own property or a private residence. Like if I go into a gun store and they know me by name, I can open carry there. But if I go to Walmart, I can't open carry in Walmart. But I could conceal carry in Walmart because they don't have like the conceal carry no signs on the front of the door. Generally, places like that will have like no guns allowed, round posted big old square box on the front of the door.
Yeah. And
we're allowed to have them loaded in the chamber. We can have them in the truck at all times, loaded with the chamber. Whatever you want to do. That's just a South Carolina law. I guess it changes state to state.
Mine doesn't work in South Carolina. Go ahead, Brittany. I'm sorry.
Do you guys all live in the South?
I'm in Georgia, Wings is South Carolina, and Woody's North Carolina. So we got our little corner of the eastern seaboard taken up.
Okay. That's going to say it's a lot different up here. You don't really find people carrying guns up here.
So where are you? What state are you in?
Seattle, Washington.
At baseball games when they do the national anthem, do they not play it on a banjo?
No.
Because that's how it is here.
Really?
No. Please rise.
So
national anthem.
I live in North Carolina, but I grew up in Jersey, so I've seen both. Jersey's a state where you can't. You have to be somebody special to get a license to carry there.
Oh.
Officer of the court or law enforcement.
All you need $80 in 8 hours.
If you can prove that you're being chased, like if you're a good scenario would be like a woman who's broken up and her husband's stalking her or something like that, then you can
Your mic fucked up.
sometimes get a care.
I bet you Woody's mic's fucking up. It's going to be the biggest laughs of the podcast.
Yeah. All right, I want to. Woody, are you there? Is your mic working now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good deal. All right, I wanted to get this out there. All right, this is a story. This happened in Philadelphia. These two guys were hanging out at the Phillies game. 21-year-old Matthew Clemens is the guy's name, and apparently him and his buddy were basically spitting and cursing at people at the Phillies game. They were drunk as shit, obviously, and they're just like spitting on random people and cursing at them. So in the row in front of them, there is a cop and his 11-year-old daughter, and the cop apparently got a hold of the security or whatever, and they're like, these guys are being douches, they're spitting on people. So the security takes one of the guys away and escorts him out of the building. In response, 21-year-old Matthew Clemens projectile vomits on the cop and his 11-year-old daughter on purpose. Captain Michael said, quote, "It was the most vile, disgusting thing I've ever seen in my entire life."
Based off the picture that accompanied this article, I think Captain Michael's represented on his ass too.
Did he get hurt? Is the vomit guy like broken nosed or something?
His eye looks like Rocky Balboa got a hold of him.
I saw one story where two guys like saw the thing in progress, so they pulled him off of her and then they detained him until the police were able to show up. And then you saw a picture and oh my god, he had two black eyes, a broken nose, a cut on his forehead. They detained the crap out of him while the police were coming. It was inspiring to see.
Yeah, a similar story is I remember one time this was like not too long after 9/11, and most people probably won't remember this little story because it kind of got swept under the rug, and God knows what happened to this guy. This guy stood up in the middle of the flight, and it was an Arabic guy, and he tried to open the door. He tried to open the door mid-flight and depressurize the cabin. And this wasn't just a crazy. This was someone who was like trying to take the plane down. And that's what it said in the article. It was like, Mohammed Jafar IV of Saudi Arabia was detained by passengers. They detained the shit out of this guy. They were like getting some revenge for 9/11. They beat the fuck out of this dude. I'm telling you, he looked just like Rocky Balboa after Rocky IV. They messed him up. It was good shit. I was like, man, I wish I was on that plane.
Y'all talk about detaining and all. This makes me go back to the guns thing because it's another gun law in South Carolina. Like, if somebody robs your house and you don't shoot him, but you detain him, like with the pistol, like say you come up, you pull the gun, he's got a knife or something, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, you got to shoot him in self-defense. That's the legal thing.
If you don't shoot the guy, you go to jail.
So get this.
Bogus.
North Carolina is kind of funny in this way. If the guy's in your house, then it has to be a self-defense situation. Like if he's in your house stealing your toaster and headed toward the door, or even not headed toward the door, just headed toward the living room, that's not a cause for shooting the guy. However, if he's in the process of entering your house, like let's say he's pounding on the door or breaking a window, open fire. You're good to go.
So
Yep.
his presence in your house isn't a threatening manner, and you don't feel you can't fear for your life. But him wanting to come in is.
Exactly.
Here's how I've always looked at this, and what I'm about to say may be played in court one day by the prosecution. If I catch him in the house and he's like stealing a toaster, that's one thing. But if I catch him in the house and like he's like trying to murder me, like he's got a knife in his hand or something like that, I'm killing him. All right, even if he dropped the knife and he was like, "Please don't kill me," I'm killing him. And then I'm gonna put the knife back in his hand, and then I'm gonna call the cop.
I'm the same way. I'll shoot his ass first and make up stories for the cops later.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? If I'm the only witness, I'm telling the story. So you, my friend, are going down. I've got 12 rounds in here, and I'm going to use them all.
12 rounds. What's that, a 40?
That's a 9mm with an extended mag.
My 9 has 17. It's not extended.
Oh, fuck. Not on a Ruger.
My
Not on
9
a
has
Ruger, though.
17
You got a
too.
Beretta. Yeah, well, that's a Beretta, right?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. I've always wanted a
MG.
Beretta.